All right, hey guys, today we have Xander with his third place Sword Soul deck profile. How do you feel, man?
I feel pretty good about my third place.
That's good. That's good to hear, man.
All right.
Was there anything difficult about your matchups in particular, or?
Not really. So this was from last week because it's a week later. From what I remember, I went 5-1, and my only matchup was the only matchup I lost against was Dragon Link. The other 5 were pretty easy for the most part. I didn't go against like Scythe Turbo decks, which this deck folds to, but otherwise, yeah, pretty good for the most part.
This is what people used to do, but now they just jumped on Spite and Tears. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, let's see the deck profile.
All right, so to start out, we have the Sword Soul core itself. So you got to start with the Sword Souls themselves. 3 Moyu.
Yep.
The best normal summon in the deck. Free advantage. If this gets impermed, your turn usually ends, but for the most part, you can play around it. Next up, we have the 3 Longo. This is the greatest card in the entire deck. I love this card.
Of course.
It turns on your Tenyis. It unclogs your hand. It's highly searchable. It burns because why not? Gives you access to some of the best level 10 synchros ever printed. Next up, we got 2 Taya. This card's great in like turn 3. Turn 3 just backs you, spin their whole board back, say goodbye. Next up, we got 3 Ecclesia. I like playing 3 of it because it's a free body. I usually side one out going second, especially if I know I'm going second. Because having this and a normal summon hurts, but having this and a normal summon going second, being able to break the board is just so nice. That's for the main Sword Souls themselves. Next up are the Tenyis. I run 3 at Hara. Good for recycling, good in the grind game. Always a free body. Very easy to make Chow Fang with this. Next up, I have 3 Vishuda. Great for breaking boards, especially like skill drain, but just deck folds to.
Of course.
Very advantageous level 2 at 7. And then lastly, I have 3 Ashna, the different rarities as well. It adds the flavor to the Sword Soul.
I see.
Again, free body, can make Chow Fang easily. If you open up 2 Tenyis, that's usually full combo, and especially if you have a normal summon afterwards, you can really overextend and get greedy. But you can also work around situations where your opponent has interaction. You can play around that. So I also play the 1 brick. Shothana sucks. I hate this card immensely. But you have to play it for Heavenly Dragon Circle, which I'll show later on. It's also level 4, so it's cool if you have a token on the board. For the hand traps, monster-based hand traps, I just run 5. It's just these 5. I run 2 Bell for the Despia matchup and 3 Ash Blossom for the catch-all matchup. Just everything. Next up are my spells. 3 of the Rhoda. This card's amazing. Moyu reveal this. It's practically just Moyu reveal Longyon, which in and of itself is a win condition. Searches everything you need. If you control a synchro, add a free worm too, so you can get utility cards. Just awesome card. I run 2 Heavenly Dragon Circle and 1 of the Sword Soul Monster Reborn. This card's nice. When it comes up, it's fantastic. Sometimes, like my Moyu's been ogred. And I've brought it back and still made a Chi anyways and gotten the free draw. So even if you, at the cost of a -1, you can go way, way, way higher. Sometimes if I've been to Birud, let's say that I summon the level 10 Keeshing. If I get a Birud, I summon this back and still have 2 points of interaction while ripping a card out of their hand pretty much. This card's great for dodging Imperm. Normal summon Moyu, reveal Longyon. They Imperm, I tribute the Moyu for cost, which dodges around the Imperm, and then I add Shothana, special that out because I control non-effect monster token. Next up is 3 Vessel for the Dragon Cycle. This is cool if you want to do more Tenyi plays, which I like leaning in on. And I also like making Chow Fang to control the game against light monsters. So against like Eldritch and Exosister, it's a win condition because all their monsters are light. It's also good for dumping any worms, so you can do Baxia, Monster Reborn, and then pop off that way. It's just good for dumping and adding. I run 2 Desires. If this card ever comes to 3, this deck just comes 10 times better. Pot of Desires is always great. Even if you banish 10, you can just... It makes your Sword Soul 10 Changing just so much stronger.
Yeah, Desires alone is self-explanatory because it's just +2.
It's so good. Yeah.
Or
-9.
Legit +1.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Next up, my traps. I run 5 of them. 3 Imperm and 2 Blackout. 2 Blackout may seem a little odd, but while it is searchable, I do like to draw it sometimes because I can... it's modification where I can discard off Longyon, I can reveal it off Moyi, I can also banish off Taya for cost. So if they improve the Taya, I can just get the token anyways.
Yeah, it's a searchable Icarus attack.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that too. Yeah, it's also great for interaction. So like this deck going first against Sprite has a pretty good matchup because you just summon the level 10 Keeshing and summon set this. You banish their starter, banish their first monster, and then you can pop anything remaining. Yeah, Blackout's just a great card. I also like to play 2 in case I draw 1 and I still want to do the play with Chi where I banish 1 from deck and still get a token.
And this is all 40 card main deck, or?
Oh, this is 42.
42.
I like this ratio, but don't be afraid to mess with the other ratios and add in your own tech cards. For the extra, I run 2 Chisha. This card is the heart and soul of the extra deck. 10 out of 10 times I'll always go into this guy.
Yeah, monster negate on field, right?
Yeah, it's an Imperm on leg, so you banish a worm, target a monster they control, negate its effects.
Yeah.
It can also, it's Rhoda for your own deck when it's synchro summoned.
Yeah.
It's just such a fantastic card. And you can chain block it with the Sword Souls. So you do this, chain link 1, and the Sword Soul monster you use for it, chain link 2. You just get free bodies.
Yep.
Next up is Qixing. Qixing is fantastic. It's a burn, it's 2 points of interaction, because you can banish a spell and trap, and you can banish a monster if they summon. Both of them burn, so when it comes back to you, your opponent's already at 4,400 life points, which makes pushing for lethal incredibly easy. And yeah, it's level 10, great, advantageous. The only downside is it's not generic, it requires worms. But also if this card's face up on the field and a worm is synchro summoned, you get an additional +1. So if you start off with a long jump play, then you go for the Moyi play, you can get Pot of Greed and the Search off this.
Awesome. If that card was generic, it would be too broken.
Oh, absolutely. This card's probably be banned right now.
Yeah, maybe.
Next up is Chenging. This card's awesome for closing out games and for playing against decks that like to destroy a lot because it can protect itself and buff itself up. So usually if it's like turn 3 or turn 4, I'll make this and just drop this nuke on them. Also, if a card is banished at resolution, it can banish a card from their field and graveyard, which can get rid of their precious resources. Like if they have a DPE and attempt to pop, I can protect it, banish the DPE, and then they're forced to bring back like Dasher or something.
Yep, and it all doesn't target.
Yeah, and none of it targets, which
and
is fantastic.
Generic too.
Yeah, and it's generic.
Pretty good.
Oh, so good. This card's awesome too.
Yeah.
Next up is Baron. I like Baron. Baron's cool.
Of course. Self-explanatory.
Omni Negate, level 10, 3k beater, pops a card.
And potential recursion.
Yeah, Monster Reborn.
Yeah.
Going first though, out of the level 10s. So the general Sword Soul end board is going to be an 8, a 10, and a trap. Going first, turn 1, game 1. I like to do these two with the blackout. That gives technically 5 points of interaction with 2 of them being pops. Pretty good. Baron's also nice too, but it's an Omni Negate, but I like to have the 2 points of interaction rather than the 1. Next up is Draco Berserker. It's a level 8 that it's a good game ender because it can attack twice when destroying a monster by battle and gains attack. It can also banish a monster when it activates effects. Next up is Yazi. Yazi to level 7 you can make pretty easily with a level 4 and a tuner, like a hand trap. You pop a card you pop Yazi and pop a card they control, and then summon a worm from deck. So generally off this you summon Taye, banish the Yazi, and then make Baxia. So you get 3 pops and or spins total.
Nice.
2 Baxia. Baxia is awesome. It's great for board breaking. When you can use 2 different attributes for this card synchro summon. It's not generic, you have to use a worm. You can target 2 cards your opponent controls, spin them back to the deck. Great against trap decks, they can't do anything about it. Pretty good against combo decks where you like Dark Lord no more if you decide to play that, or if you imprint the monster. Pretty good against that. And then it also has another effect where you can target a card you control and target a level 4 lower monster in your graveyard, special that card back and pop the card you control. So if you have a Monk and Adhara, you can pop the Monk, summon the Adhara back, and make a Synchro 9. And off of that you make this, Chow Thing. This card says no to light monsters. So you use Baxia for this card's summons, and then any light monsters any light monsters in the game period that your opponent has cannot activate their effects. So no Eldritch, no Exosister stuff, no Drytron shenanigans, none of that. If it destroys a monster by battle, you can summon a worm with the same attribute from your deck. So destroy a dark, summon Vashuda, destroy a light, summon Ashna, destroy earth, summon Adhara. And then if this dies, get any tuner you want, generally Ecclesia for the follow-up, or Ash if you need it.
Yeah.
Next up, I run 1 Psychic End Punisher. These are my flex spots at this point. I like Psychic End Punisher. I've gone to it 1 or 2 times. Let's say you have a stray token and a Tenyi. You just go those 2 into 11, go into this, make it a big beater, and just play the beatdown meta. Fun to go into. Again, great number. Sometimes it can be unaffected. But again, a flex spot. Put whatever you want there. Crimson Blader. This card's cool against like Branded, the Mirror Match, and a couple other matchups where there's like high-level monsters. Like Flundereeze, this card's a win condition if you don't hit one of the baby birds. Like if you hit a barrier statue. It says your opponent can't special summon level 5, special summon or normal summon level 5 or higher monsters until their next turn. So it's a 2-turn lock. It's kind of nice. 2 Monk of the Tenyis. This card turns on all your Tenyi plays. And just great utility card. And then last but not least, Shaman. Shaman's very okay. It's discard a card to reborn a worm, but you're locked out of the effects of extra deck monsters that aren't Tenyi monsters. It's very okay. And then if a non-effect monster attacks, you can pop a card in the field. It's a very corner case situation. When it comes up, it's pretty cool.
That's nice.
And then for my side, 3 Nibiru, the Primal Being. Against combo decks is pretty nice. 2 Lancia. I'm thinking about cutting this, to be honest with you. Lancia is only good in like against Flunderies. That's my only real tech card against it.
What would you replace it with?
Probably Crow.
Crow? Yeah, Crow is a very powerful card.
Yeah,
right
especially this coming up
now.
format.
Yeah, this upcoming format, yeah.
It's so good. 3 Cyclone. Cyclone's great against backrow decks,
Of course.
against Eldritch. 3 Evenly. Broken card. This card should never have been printed. This is my only real going first tech, Solemn Judgment. Most of the time, I just carry the rest of the weight of the deck on Swordsoul and let Judgment do anything about Dark Ruler or Lightning Storm. And then 1 red reboot. Again, another card that should just never been printed.
Too bad it's a 1.
Yeah, it's facts.
But it's still alive, so that's cool.
Yeah. Back row decks, I usually side 1 red reboot, the 3 Evenly, and 3 Cyclone. Against combo decks, I'll do Nibiru, the Evenly, and against more mid-rangey decks, I might side in Lancia if they come in clutch. Like Tribe Brigade, I'll do Lancia, 2 Nibiru, and 3 Evenly. But again, feel free to mess with whatever you want in your side deck. And yeah, that's my profile.
That's good to hear. Are there any shoutouts that you want to make in particular?
Shout out to my friend Matthew, who recommended Dark Ruler. I messed with it today, and that card is not good. That card never came up, and I hate it, and I went 2-7 because of it, and I'm not very happy. And my friend Kieran, funny guy, bad at the game, and plays Dynamorphia, so yeah. That's it.
Yeah, that's good to hear.
All right, thank you very
guys.
much.
If you like my content, make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you later. Peace.